Hello! Today we'll be talking about Mr. Mime, the first Pokemon to have a period in its name. Speaking of which, this Pokemon's evolutionary line contains the only use of periods in Pokemon names, as of June 2024. If one wishes to not consider Galarian Rapidash as the 78th Pokemon, this is the first Psychic Fairy Pokemon, although it gained the Fairy typing in Gen 4. Speaking of Gen 4, this is when Mr. Mime gained a pre-evolution Mime Jr., who evolves when it levels up after learning Mimic. If one wishes to consider Galarian Mr. Mime as the 122nd Pokemon, it's the first Ice Psychic type Pokemon. Its previous BYC dates are June 27th, 1996, April 18th, 1999, February 6th, 2002, November 27th, 2004, September 18th, 2007, July 9th, 2010, April 29th, 2013, February 18th, 2016, December 9th, 2018, and September 29th, 2021. I most remember Mr. Mime from the anime, particularly the one that Mrs. Ketchum owns. I also remember Mr. Mime from Detective Pikachu, the design of which is not my favorite, but I suppose it isn't the worst design. As for the designs of both versions of Mr. Mime, they're fine. They're like clowns, so they, look the part. Anyway, let's get into the Bulbapedia article. Hello and welcome to the Bulbapedia section of the video. Today we're talking about Mr. Mime, the barrier Pokemon as non-Galarian Mr. Mime, and the dancing Pokemon as Galarian Mr. Mime. Its number is 0122. This is Mr. Mime, this is what it looks like. This is Galarian Mr. Mime, this is what it looks like. Types as non-Galarian Mr. Mime is Psychic and Fairy. Galarian Mr. Mime is Ice Psychic. For the Psychic Fairy type here, we've talked about it before, but we haven't had it in an info box, so this is what it looks like. Abilities, Soundproof or Filter in Gen 4 Plus as Mr. Mime, and Vital Spirit or Screen Cleaner as Galarian Mr. Mime. Non-Galarian Mr. Mime's hidden ability is Technician, while Galarian Mr. Mime's hidden ability is Ice Body. Gender ratio is 50-50, which is surprising, given its name, Mr. Mime. Yeah. That's interesting. I wonder why they did that. Catch rate is 45 or 11.9%. Breeding is egg group human-like, hatch time 25 cycles. As non-Galarian Mr. Mime, it's 4'3" or 1.3 meters, and 120.2 pounds or 54.5 kilograms. As Galarian Mr. Mime, it's 4'7" or 1.4 meters, and 125.2 pounds, or 56.8 kilograms. Base experience yield is 136 in the first 4 gens, and 161 in 5+. Leveling rate is medium fast. EV yield is 2. For non-Galarian Mr. Mime, it's in Special Defense, but for Galarian Mr. Mime, it's in Speed. Shape is that, footprint is that. Pokedex color? Pink, other forms may have other colors, and base friendship is 70. Mr. Mime is a dual-type Psychic Fairy Pokemon introduced in Gen 1. Prior to Gen 6, it was a pure Psychic-type Pokemon. It evolves from Mime Jr. when leveled up, while knowing Mimic. In Galar, Mr. Mime has a dual-type Ice Psychic regional form. It evolves into Mr. Rime, starting at level 42. All Mime Jr. and Galar evolve into this form regardless of their origin. Cantonia Mr. Mime is not known to evolve into any other Pokemon. Biology, Mr. Mime is a bipedal humanoid Pokemon. Blue growths resembling clown hair extend from the sides of its pale pink head, and there is a magenta circle on each cheek. Its jaw is curved inward, resembling the mouth of a wooden dummy. It has a round, white body with a magenta spot in the middle, light pink arms and legs that connect to its body via magenta spheres, and small white coverings over its knees. Its white hands resemble gloves with magenta pads on the tips of its white fingers, and its dark blue feet curl upward at their tips. From birth, this Pokemon is an excellent pantomime. As it matures, it gains the ability to solidify air molecules by vibrating its fingertips. This ability allows it to create invisible objects with its gestures. It punishes those who interrupt its act or are not impressed by slapping them. In the TCG, Mr. Mime is shown to be adept at rock climbing. Mr. Mime is usually very rare, but can be found in suburban areas. As mentioned, Pokemon Sleep, it is hard to tell whether Mr. Mime is either sleeping or pretending to be asleep due to its masterful pantomime skills. So you can see Mr. Mime rock climbing. In Gen 2, Substitute was its signature move prior to Gen 6, and in Gen 8, Mr. Mime in its pre-evolved form, Mime Jr., were the only known Pokemon who could have Filter as an ability. Forms, Mr. Mime has a regional form, Galarian Mr. Mime. Galarian Mr. Mime are mostly blue and white. It also has blue growths resembling clown hair on its pale head. However, these also extend and cover its cheeks, creating a mutton chop style sideburn effect resembling earmuffs. It has wider shaped eyes and a small blue triangle for a nose. It has a suit-like body comprising a white top, blue shoulder spheres, blue bottom trousers, and a diamond-shaped crystal that resembles a tie. It has mitten-like hands and feet that are more defined, resembling blue shoes with light blue soles, presumably made out of ice. Through its feet, it is able to control the temperature and create a floor of ice, which it can kick up to act as a barrier. It is widely known in the region for its talent in tap dancing, contrasting Cantonian Mr. Mime's talent for pantomiming, and it is likely the result of Mr. Rhyme's influence over Mime Jr., imitating their dance steps. Galarian Mr. Mime and its evolved form, Mr. Rhyme, are the only known Pokemon that can have Screen Cleaner as an ability. Evolution, Mr. Mime evolves from Mime Jr., so you can see that here, Mime Jr., Mr. Mime. Galarian Mr. Mime evolves from Mime Jr. and evolves into Mr. Rhyme, so you can see that here, Mime Jr., Galarian Mr. Mime, Mr. Rhyme. Game data, specific appearances, that's new. Normally, it is NPC appearances, so I do wonder what this is supposed to mean. I don't know. Maybe specific appearances was its old name for NPC appearances, or a new name? I don't know. Pokemon Stadium 2, Mr. Mime stars in its own minigame called Barrier Ball. Pokeballs appear on the field, and by using Mr. Mime's barrier, send the Pokeballs to the other players' fields. Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Explorers of Time, Darkness and Sky. During the post-game, after graduating, a few days later, Mr. Mime will appear in Treasure Town, saying that a famous Scizor has been trapped in a dungeon called Blizzard Island. After, Mr. Mime will remain in Treasure Town. In Explorers of Sky, it also appears before the post-game as a regular visitor of Spinda's Cafe. Pokedex entries in red and blue. If interrupted while it's miming, it will slap around the offender with its broad hands. Yellow always practices its pantomime act. It makes enemies believe something exists that really doesn't. Stadium. It is an expert at miming and loves to perform. It is said to slap around anyone who disturbs it with its broad hands. Gen 2. Gold. A skillful mime from birth, it gains the ability to create invisible objects as it matures. Silver, its fingertips emit a peculiar force field that hardens air to create an actual wall. Crystal, it uses the mysterious power it has in its fingers to solidify air into an invisible wall. For Stadium 2, if you have Pokemon Red, Silver, or Crystal inserted, you get the gold entry, but if you have Pokemon Blue, Gold, or Yellow inserted, you get the silver entry. In Gen 3 in Ruby and Sapphire, Mr. Mime is a master of pantomime. Its gestures and motions convince watchers that something unseeable actually exists. Once it is believed, it will exist as if it were a real thing. Emerald. 8. Mr. Mime is a master of pantomime. It can convince others that something unseeable actually exists. Once believed, the imaginary object does become real. Fire Red. It is adept at conning people. It is said to be able to create walls out of thin air by miming. Leaf Greens is very similar to Red and Blues, but slightly different, so I'll read it. If interrupted while it is miming, it will suddenly double slap the offender with its broad hands. In Gen 4 in Diamond, it is a pantomime expert that can create invisible but solid walls using miming gestures. Pearl, emanations from its fingertips solidify the air into invisible walls that repel even harsh attacks. Platinum, it shapes an invisible wall in mid-air by minutely vibrating its fingertips to stop molecules in the air. Heart Gold and Soul Silver are their gold and silver counterparts. The Gen 5 Pokedex entries are Platinums. In Gen 6, X is Pearl's entry. Y is Fire Red's entry. Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, very similar to their Ruby and Sapphire counterpart, but slightly different, so I'll read it. Mr. Mime is a master of pantomime. Its gestures and motions convince watchers that something unseeable actually exists. Once the watchers are convinced, the unseeable thing exists as if it were real. In Gen 7 and Ultra Sun, its pantomime skills are wonderful. You may become enraptured while watching it, but the next thing you know, Mr. Mime has made a real wall. Ultra Moon, it creates invisible walls with its pantomiming. If you don't act impressed, it will attack you with a double slap. The Let's Go games are Yellow's entry. In Gen 8, for non-Galarian Mr. Mime is Sword. The broadness of its hands may be no coincidence. Many scientists believe its palms become enlarged specifically for pantomiming. Shield, it's known for its top-notch pantomime skills. It protects itself from all sorts of attacks by emitting auras from its fingers to create walls. Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl are their Diamond and Pearl counterparts. notes. Legends Arceus. The behavior of this clown-like Pokemon reminds one of pantomime. It creates invisible walls using a force emitted from its fingertips. For Galarian Mr. Mime and Sword, its talent is tap dancing. It can also manipulate temperatures to create a floor of ice, which this Pokemon can kick up to use as a barrier. Shield, it can radiate chilliness from the bottoms of its feet. It'll spend the whole day tap dancing on a frozen floor. Mr. Mime in the Alola Pokedex and Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. Game locations. Yep. Side game locations. And events. Held items. Pokemon caught in Gen 1 must be traded to a Gen 2 game in order for held item to appear. In Red, Blue, and Yellow, you get a Bitter Berry 100% of the time. In Gold, Silver, and Crystal, you get a Mystery Berry 2% of the time. In Diamond, Pearl, Platinum, Heart, Gold, and Soul Silver, you get a Leppa Berry 5% of the time. In Legends Arceus, for normal, you get a Chesto Berry 35% of the time. Swirled Apricorn 15% of the time, and Grid items per level. Alpha, you get an EXP Candy M 100% of the time, Seed of Mastery 20% of the time, and Grid items by level. Stats, base stats, I'll compare Mr. Mime and Galarian Mr. Mime, but before I do, I wanted to mention the Ice inside and Psychic outside. I didn't do that. We talked about the evolution stuff earlier, so yeah, that's what it looks like. 40 HP, this form has 50, attack 45, this form has 65, defense 65, that stays the same, special attack 100, that one has 90, special defense 120, that one has 90, speed 90, that one has 100, so they're both 460. In the Mr. Mime box, this Pokemon's special base stat in Gen 1 was 100. Pokéthon stats, type effectiveness, I'll compare Mr. Mime and Galarian Mr. Mime. So, non-Galarian Mr. Mime is damaged normally by normal, flying, ground, rock, bug, fire, water, grass, electric, ice, dark, and fairy. The ones that go away are rock, bug, and fire, and ice, and dark. Galarian Mr. Mime is damaged only by normal, fighting, flying, poison, ground, water, grass, electric, dragon, and fairy. Non-Galarian Mr. Mime is weak to poison, ghost, and steel for double, while Galarian Mr. Mime is weak to rock, bug, ghost, steel, fire, and dark for double. Mr. Mime is immune to dragon, while Galarian Mr. Mime is immune to nothing. Non-Galarian Mr. Mime is resistant to fighting and psychic, with fighting being a fourth and psychic being half. Galarian Mr. Mime is resistant to psychic and ice for half. In the Mr. Mime box, these notes. If this Pokemon is given a ring target, the effectiveness of Dragon-type moves is 1. So it would go from 0 to 1. If this Pokemon has Filter, the effectiveness of Poison, Ghost, and Steel-type moves is 1.5. I didn't know that was possible, but I guess it would go from Poison 2 to 1.5. Yeah, all of these would go from 2 to 1.5. In Gen 4 to 5, the effectiveness of Bug, Ghost, and Dark-type moves is 1.5. With the same condition, or just as is? I think, I don't know. I don't know. I'm assuming that's with the same condition. So it would go from 1 to 1.5. 2 to also 1.5, but why would you need to bring it up twice? I don't know. Or I guess because it's specifically referring to the Gen 9, I don't know. Whatever. Dark-type moves would have gone from 1 to 1.5. In Gen 1, the effectiveness of Ghost-type moves is 0, so it went from 0 to 2. Due to the conversion to Fairy-type, the effectiveness of Dragon-type, Steel-type, and Poison-type moves was 1, so that went from 1 to Dragon, 1 to 0, Steel, 1 to 2, and Poison, 1 to 2 as well. Dark-type and Bug-type was 2, so it went from 2 to 1 for both. And Fighting-type moves was half prior to Gen 6, so that went from half to a fourth. Learn set, Mr. Mime is available in Sword and Shield, Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl, and Pokemon Legends Arceus. Galarian Mr. Mime is available in Sword and Shield. Both forms of Mr. Mime are unavailable in Gen 9. By leveling up Mr. Mime in Sword and Shield and Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, I'm going to go down to Protect down here. 20 Protect, 24 Recycle, 28 Psybeam, 32 Mimic, 36 Light Screen Reflect and Safeguard, 40 Sucker Punch, 44 Dazzling Gleam, 48 Psychic, and 52 Teeter Dance. For Legends Arceus, we'll start at 25 Mimic. At 25, they learn Mimic, and I guess they never master it, or I don't know, maybe they keep... Yeah, I don't know, I don't really understand what Mastery means yet, so I'm sure it'll make sense when I play this game. At level 34, they learn Psychic and master it at 45. At level 43, they learn Calm Mind and master it at 54. At 46, they learn Dazzling Gleam and master it at 58. For Galarian Mr. Mime, will go down to 18. 20, Icy Wind. 24, Double Kick. 28, Psy Beam. 32, Hypnosis. 36, Mirror Coat. 40, Sucker Punch. 44, Freeze Dry. 48, Psychic, and 52, Teeter Dance. By TM/TR for Mr. Mime, what I'm going to do is I'm going to read all of these, but I won't do it in the Mime Jr. video. Sword and Shield, TM, 0, Mega Punch, 1, Mega Kick, 3, Fire Punch, 4, Ice Punch, 5, Thunder Punch, 8, Hyper Beam, 9, Giga Impact, 10, Magical Leaf, 11, Solar Beam, 14, Thunder Wave, 17, Light Screen, 18, Reflect, 19, Safeguard, 21, Rest, 23, Thief, 24, Snore, 25, Protect, 27, Icy Wind, 29, Charm, 31, Attract, 33, Rain Dance, 34, Sunny Day, 39, Facade, 41, Helping Hand, 43, Brick Break, 57, Payback, 59, Fling, 60, Power Swap, 61, Guard Swap, 63, Drain Punch, 70, Trick Room, 71, Wonder Room, 72, Magic Room, 76, Round, 89, Misty Terrain, 91, Psychic Terrain, 92, Mystical Fire. For the TRs, 1, Body Slam, 8, Thunderbolt, 9, Thunder, 11, Psychic, 14, Metronome, 20, Substitute, 25, Psyshock, 26, Endure, 27, Sleep Talk, 29, Baton Pass, 30, Encore, 33, Shadow Ball, 34, Future Sight, 35, Uproar, 37, Taunt, 38, Trick, 40, Skill Swap, 46, Iron Defense, 49, Calm Mind, 64, Focus Blast, 65, Energy Ball, 68, Nasty Plot, 69, Zen Headbutt, 77, Grass Knot, 81, Foul Play, 82, Stored Power, 83, Ally Switch, and 92, Dazzling Gleam. In Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl, 1, Focus Punch, 4, Calm Mind, 11, Sunny Day, 12, Taunt, 15, Hyper Beam, 16, Light Screen, 17, Protect, 18, Rain Dance, 20, Safeguard, 21, Dazzling Gleam, 22, Solar Beam, 24, Thunderbolt, 25, Thunder, 29, Psychic, 30, Shadow Ball, 31, Brick Break, 32, Double Team, 33, Reflect, 34, Shockwave, 40, Aerial Ace, 41, Torment, 42, Facade, 44, Rest, 45, Attract, 46, Thief, 48, Skill Swap, 52, Focus Blast, 53, Energy Ball, 56, Fling, 57, Charge Beam, 58, Endure, 60, Drain Punch, 63, Nasty Plot, 66, Payback, 67, Recycle, 68, Giga Impact, 70, Flash, 73, Thunder Wave, 77, Psych Up, 82, Sleep Talk, 85, Dream Eater, 86, Grass Knot, 87, Swagger, 90, Substitute, and 92, Trick Room. For Galarian Mr. Mime, I'm going to rate it in this one, but I won't in the Mr. Rhyme video. TM, 0, Mega Punch, 1, Mega Kick, 4, Ice Punch, 8, Hyper Beam, 9, Giga Impact, 11, Solar Beam, 14, Thunder Wave, 16, Screech, 17, Light Screen, 18, Reflect, 19, Safeguard, 21, Rest, 23, Thief, 24, Snore, 25, Protect, 27, Icy Wind, 29, Charm, 31, Attract, 33, Rain Dance, 34, Sunny Day, 35, Hail, 39, Facade, 40, Helping Hand, 43, Brick Break, 51, Icicle Spear, 57, Payback, 59, Fling, 60, Power Swap, 61, Guard Swap, 63, Drain Punch, 64, Avalanche, 70, Trick Room, 71, Wonder Room, 72, Magic Room, 76, Round, 89, Misty Terrain, 91, Psychic Terrain, 98, Stomping Tantrum. For the TRs, 1, Body Slam, 5, Ice Beam, 6, Blizzard, 8, Thunderbolt, 9, Thunder, 11, Psychic, 14, Metronome, 20, Substitute, 25, Psyshock, 26, Endure, 27, Sleep Talk, 29, Baton Pass, 30, Encore, 33, Shadow Ball, 34, Future Sight, 35, Uproar, 37, Taunt, 38, Trick, 40, Skill Swap, 46, Iron Defense, 49, Calm Mind, 64, Focus Blast, 65, Energy Ball, 68, Nasty Plot, 69, Zen Headbutt, 77, Grass Knot, 81, Foul Play, 82, Stored Power, 83, Ally Switch, and 92, Dazzling Gleam. By breeding, Mr. Mime, Sword and Shield. This group gives you Confuse Ray, this group gives you Fake Out, this group gives you Hypnosis, this group gives you Power Split, and this group gives you Tickle. Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl, this group gives you Charm, this group gives you Confuse Ray, this group gives you Fake Out, this group gives you Future Sight, this group gives you Healing Wish, this group gives you Hypnosis, Spin Deck gives you Icy Wind, Mr. Mime gives you Magic Room, Mimic, Power Split, and Tickle, but Magic Room, Power Split, and Tickle are all from the Grand Underground. Mr. Mime and Spin Deck give you Teeter Dance, And Spindle gives you Trick. Galarian Mr. Mime, this group gives you Confuse Ray, this group gives you Fake Out, this group gives you Hypnosis, this group gives you Power Split, and this group gives you Tickle. By tutoring Mr. Mime and Sword and Shield and Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearls, in the Sword and Shield expansion pass, you get Expanding Force, which is a special Psychic type move. Its power is 80, accuracy 100, and PB is 10. In Legends Arceus, you get Aerial Ace, Calm Mind, Charge Beam, Dazzling Gleam, Drain Punch, Energy Ball, Fire Punch, Giga Impact, Hyper Beam, Ice Punch, Icy Wind, Magical Leaf, Mystical Fire, Power Shift, Psychic Rest, Shadow Ball, Thunderbolt, Thunder Punch, and Zen Headbutt. For Galarian Mr. Mime, with the Sword and Shield expansion pass, you can get Expanding Force and Triple Axle. Nothing by prior evolution for Mr. Mime or Galarian Mr. Mime. By transfer from another generation for Mr. Mime. 4 through 7, you get Aerial Ace. 1 through 7, you get Barrier. That doesn't work anymore. 1, you get Bide. That doesn't work anymore. 4, you get Captivate. That doesn't work anymore. 4 through 7, you get Charge Beam. 6 and 7, you get Confide. 1 and 3, you get Counter. 5 through 7, you get Covet. 2, you get Curse. 2 through 7, you get Double Slap. That doesn't work anymore. 1 to 7, you get Double Team. 1 and 3, you get Double Edge. 2 through 7, you get Dream Eater. 2, you get Dynamic Punch. 1, 2, 4, 5, and 6, you get Flash. That doesn't work anymore. 3, 4, 6, and 7, you get Focus Punch. 3 from an event, you get Follow Me. 2 through 7, you get Frustration. That doesn't work anymore. 2, 4, and 7, you get Headbutt. 4 through 7, you get Healing Wish. 2 through 7, you get Hidden Power. That doesn't work anymore. 6 and 7, you get Infestation. 4 through 7, you get Magic Coat. 1 through 7, you get Meditate. That doesn't work anymore. 2 through 4, you get Mud Slap. 4, you get Natural Gift. That doesn't work anymore. 2 and 3, you get Nightmare. That doesn't work anymore. 6, you get Power Up Punch. 2 through 7, you get Psych Up. 1, 5, 6, and 7, you get Psywave. That doesn't work anymore. 1, you get Rage. That doesn't work anymore. 2 through 7, you get Return. That doesn't work anymore. 3, 4, and 6, you get Secret Power. That doesn't work anymore. 1, 3, and 7, you get Seismic Toss. 3, 4, 6, and 7, you get Shockwave. 4 through 7, you get Signal Beam. That doesn't work anymore. 1, you get Skull Bash. 3 through 7, you get Snatch. That doesn't work anymore. 1, you get Submission. 2 through 7, you get Swagger. 1, you get Takedown. 5 and 7, you get Telekinesis. That doesn't work anymore. 1 and 7, you get Teleport. 3 through 7, you get Torment. 1 through 7, you get Toxic. 4 through 7, you get Wake Up Slap. That doesn't work anymore. And 2, you get Zap Cannon. For Galarian Mr. Mime, by transfer, only via prior evolution. So these are moves you would have gotten through a Mime Jr. 4 through 7, you get Barrier. That doesn't work anymore. 4, you get Captivate. That doesn't work anymore. 4 through 7, you get Charge Beam. 6 and 7, you get Confide. 5 through 7, you get Covet. 4 through 7, you get Double Slap. That doesn't work anymore. 4 through 7, you get Double Team and Dream Eater. 4 through 6, you get Flash. That doesn't work anymore. 4, 6, and 7, you get Focus Punch. 4 through 7, you get Frustration. That doesn't work anymore. In 4, you get Headbutt. 4 through 7, you get Healing Wish and Hidden Power. Hidden Power doesn't work anymore. 6 and 7, you get Infestation. 4 through 7, you get Magic Coat. 4 through 7, you get Meditate. That doesn't work anymore. 4, you get Mud Slap. 4, you get Natural Gift. That doesn't work anymore. 4 through 7, you get Psych Up. 4 through 7, Return. That doesn't work anymore. 4 and 6, you get Secret Power. That doesn't work anymore. 4, 6 and 7, you get Shockwave. 4 through 7, you get Signal Beam, Snatch, and Swagger. Signal Beam and Snatch don't work anymore. 5 and 7, you get Telekinesis. That doesn't work anymore. And 4 through 7, you get Torment, Toxic, and Wake Up Slap. Wake Up Slap doesn't work anymore. Side game data, Mr. Mime. Here, got all this. Pokemon Ranger in the browser entry. Mr. Mime puts up invisible barriers while performing its pantomime motions. In Shadows of Olmia, it uses a psychically made barrier to shield itself. Got all this. Yep. Pokepark Wii Pikachu's Adventure. In the Pokepark pad entry, Mr. Mime is in charge of the minecart in the Cavern Zone. His favorite attractions are Bastiodon's Block Barrage and Rotom's Spooky Shoot 'em Up. Got all this. Pokemon Sleep. You can see all the different sleep positions. Barrier Bed. Pebble Block Sleep. Barrier Wall and the top sleep. That's very cute. Galarian Mime in Pokemon Go. Evolution data. So for Mr. Mime, Mime Jr., then level up knowing Mimic outside of Galar. You get Mr. Mime, then can be bred holding Odd Incense. Galarian Mr. Mime, yeah, Mime Jr., level up knowing Mimic and Galar. Galarian Mr. Mime, then level 42 Mr. Rhyme. And this one can be bred holding the Odd Incense. Sprites here, so yeah, got the basics. Very creepy, this red one. I forgot that. Yeah, the eyes, because they're, like, weird circles, I mean, I don't know, they're a lot different, the outlines, it's just, I don't know, front-facing, and just the black hair, I don't know, there's something about this that makes it look so creepy. Yeah, I don't know. But it's got most of the basics down. That's pretty good. 4 fingers and the weird curved feet and all that. Coloring is obviously a little wrong with the hair and stuff, but got the pinks. That's fun. Pinks and the whites. This is much more proportional. Or this, like, these are a bit chubbier than the one we get later, but yeah. This one's red for some reason. This is closer to what we have now. It's got pink face and red. Those, I guess this is the one that introduces... Well, I guess this would be the one that introduces everything red. Obviously, this back sprite doesn't work for this one. Don't really think it even really works for this one. It's a lot thicker than this one is. That's interesting. That's actually closer to the modern one, which is... It's interesting that it hasn't changed that much from this original one. But, yeah, these are green and pink. Then here in Gen 3, get all the correct colors now. Everything's red, white, pink, you know. This is not quite blue yet, sort of a gray, darker gray, I'd say. Same with the feet. They look more like skis for some reason, rather than these fun shoes. I don't know. They look more like shoes in Fire Red's where we get the blue, in Fire Red and Leaf Green. But yeah, the shiny now, it's still keeping the green highlights, I guess. That's fun. Yeah, Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl. It's a different shade of green and pink now instead of red. This is a different shade of blue as well. More dark blue than sort of that gray blue, or dark gray blue. Yep. I got full back sprite. It's fun. Oh, that looks so weird. Like, I don't know. Yeah, this kind of look weird, because you can't really tell. It kind of looks like you can't tell if it's facing backwards or not, especially this one. It's so difficult. Like, it looks like it's facing backwards, but I know it's facing forwards because its feet going that way, and its hands, you know, it just feels weird. Then Gen 6. That's interesting. Far less like a translation of this, and I would say much more like the anime one. Yeah, because it doesn't really look like that, does it? No, it never really did. This is much more what the anime one looks like. Because it doesn't exactly, you know, look like these sprites do. So that's very interesting that they chose to do that instead of this one. So, I mean, you know, very much an excellent translation of that version. Yeah, it's very interesting. Yep. And you got the Let's Go games. It's fun. Obviously better models. It's got 5 fingers. Well, hold on. It has 4 originally. What? It gained 5 fingers in Emerald. That's interesting. Wonder why they did that. Huh. Okay, well, this is what it looks like in Sword and Shield. And this is the Galarian form, so we get to see what that one looks like. It's kind of just a purple version of that. You know, the dark blues are replaced by purple. The tie is a little bit, yeah, the tie and the balls, the blue, are like a faded faded blue, I guess. And the boots are a little different, but otherwise basically the same. I guess the nose is, yeah, that also that purple, whatever. Okay. Then Legends Arceus, we got this. It's fun. Yeah, it's very interesting that they chose to go with the anime for the 3D model rather than the actual sprites. Homes, yeah, you got that. Then main series, Mr. Mime in the anime. So Mime, that's Delia Ketchum's Mr. Mime. Okay, got all this. Yep. Pokedex entries for this first one. I've already recorded it for the anime, so we'll let Dexter read it.
Mr. Mime, the barrier Pokemon. It uses pantomime to make actual walls appear. Because it is rarely discovered, information about this Pokemon is extremely limited.
In Diamond and Pearl, episode 159, in Dawn's Pokedex, Mr. Mime, the barrier Pokemon. By rapidly moving its fingers, Mr. Mime can stop air molecules to create an invisible wall. These in the manga. We've got Mr. Mime in Pokemon Adventures, and Galarian Mr. Mime in Pokemon Adventures with a bunch of Ice Cube and a Galarian Daru Maka. Okay. Pokedex entries and Pokemon Adventures. Chapter 158. It can release mysterious waves from its fingers and solidify the air, creating invisible walls. Guess that's from Chuang Yi's translation. Okay, in the TCG. Other appearances, we'll see this Mr. Mime at the Detective Pikachu portion of the video. Pokemon Unite. Mr. Mime is playable through obtaining a Unite license. It is a melee supporter, so you can see that here, Mr. Mime in Pokemon Unite. Trivia. Despite its English name containing a male, exclusive honorific, Mr. Mime's gender ratio is evenly split between male and female. This discrepancy is probably due to the fact that Mr. Mime's Japanese name, Barriered, does not reference gender. Also, Mr. Mime was introduced in Gen 1 before the gender mechanic was introduced. Based on this, translator Nob Ogasawara was wary about Mr. Mime's English name during localization. If they make sequels and they give genders to Pokemon, we're going to be hooped. The Mr. Mime obtained through an in-game trade in Pokemon Red and Blue was nicknamed Marcel. This may have been a homage to the late Marcel Marceau, a French mime artist. However, this was not kept in Pokemon Yellow or Fire Red and Leaf Green. The same, Mr. Mime is nicknamed Miles in Yellow and Mimian in Fire Red and Leaf Green. This is referenced in Pokemon Sword and Shield, where a boy in Wyndon said a nearby Galarian Mr. Mime is named Marcel. Ah! In all official artwork and in-game sprites prior to the release of Fire Red and Leaf Green, Mr. Mime only had 4 fingers. However, Mr. Mime has 5 fingers in the anime. That's not true, as we saw earlier. It should be emeralds. Galarian Mr. Mime is the only regional form with an exclusive evolved form that evolved from a Pokemon without a regional form of its own. The only Pokemon evolved by knowing a certain move that can evolve further. The only Galarian form that can have the Hisuian origin mark due to Mime Jr. being able to have it. Galarian Mr. Mime shares its category with Oricorio. They are both known as the dancing Pokemon. Mr. Mime and Lycanroc are the only 2 Pokemon known to have 6 possible abilities between their forms, the most of any Pokemon. Mr. Mime is the only wild Pokemon in Pokemon Legends Arceus that can prevent players from battling it, as the barrier it sets up disrupts any Pokeballs that hit it. Origin, Mr. Mime seems to be based on a mime artist, specifically the pantomime of pretending to be trapped in invisible boxes. Its brightly colored body is also reminiscent of a clown and a court jester. The blue growths on its head resemble a fool's cap, and its curled feet resemble a jester's hook-toed shoes. Its curled feet are also reminiscent of modern depictions of elves. Elves are often portrayed as fairy-like beings, and in some cases, the terms are used interchangeably. This may explain why Mr. Mime was changed to be part fairy with the type's introduction in Gen 6. Its jerky animation causes it to resemble a jointed puppet or doll. In Japanese folklore, inanimate objects that are possessed by spirits and come to life are known as Zuku Mogami. Galarian Mr. Mime appears to be based on both tap dancers and ice skaters. The soles of its feet resemble tap shoes. The blue spots on the sides of its head resemble earmuffs. Its fingers resemble mittens, and the ice on its chest resembles a necktie. Its rounded body is also reminiscent of a snowman. Name origin, Mr. Mime, is an abbreviation of Mr. and Mime. Barriered may be a combination of barrier, referring to the invisible walls it creates, and weird. In other languages, related articles, references, external links to the Galarian forms. Let's move on. Now let's watch Mr. Mime's first scene in the anime. Hello and welcome to the anime portion of the video. Today we're watching episode 65. It's Mr. Mime time. Fittingly, the first appearance of Mr. Mime. So, Ash, the main character and his traveling companions, Brock here, and Misty, as well as his faithful Pokemon companion Pikachu, and now Togepi, are returning home after getting all of their badges and stuff. But they have been stopped by this invisible wall, and Ash has seen Mr. Mime. There's the Mr. Mime.
Mr. Mime. Mr.
Okay, so that's Mr. Mime's first scene in the anime. Let's move on. Now let's watch Mr. Mime's scenes in Detective Pikachu. Hello and welcome to the Detective Pikachu portion of the video, or as I like to call it, Detective Mr. Mime. Okay, that doesn't really work for this one, but anyway, in the film, Tim Goodman, the main character, has met Detective Pikachu, a talking Pikachu, and they have tracked something called the Argas, which makes Pokemon go crazy, to this dockyard, and Mr. Mime is exiting this building here.
What is that?
Oh! Ooh, ew, that. Silent but annoying.
I think he recognizes you.
Get him!
So, yeah, what they're talking about is how he was an informant for his father, Harry Goodman, who's disappeared, and that Detective Pikachu was his partner, and so he recognizes him, and so he's running away because he doesn't want to get in trouble again, I guess.
He's barely moving.
What? Oh, he's on a bike. Come on, he thinks he's getting away. Look, quick! Get him.
So Tim has just stopped him.
He's going down hard, Tim. I hope he makes it.
Come on, this is ridiculous.
Okay.
I'm good
So
cop
now
with
they're
that.
gonna interrogate
Not
him.
cops.
Grow some berries. You're bigger and tougher looking than I am. Stand up straight. Listen up. We got ways to make you talk. Or mine. Why was Harry Goodman here, and what did it have to do
Yeah.
with
So
the
he has
R?
amnesia, so he doesn't know.
Pipe. Yes. Okay. I can. Shoving. Pushing. My problem is that I push people away and then hate them for leaving. What? I can shove it? Okay, that's it. No, we're switching roles. I'm bad cop. You're good cop.
No, we're not cops.
Oh God, that's a very hard wall.
Oh, yeah. Mr. Mime has the ability to make invisible walls.
Yes, I know.
So he's saying how he
figured this guy
happens to be a
out somehow.
Pokemon, so he knows.
I think the trick is getting inside his head. I have an idea.
I don't know, kids movie, but fictional cocktail.
Because it's invisible.
Yeah. You're in your space now, right? You don't want this so much, do you?
That's a jug.
No.
So cookie.
No.
Real cookie.
What are you talking about?
Gas. Oh,
Yeah, it's on him.
I
Yeah.
like this very much.
Fictional.
All right. Okay, you wanna play that game? We can play that game. You think that's funny? Hey, you think that's funny, huh? I'll be laughing soon. Huh? Who's laughing now, huh?
Oh, I smell what you're stepping in. That's right, Mr. Mime. You're about talking. Cards, playing cards, poker. No, someone was handing out R. Circle, house, moon, house, moon, house.
Round.
But
Roundhouse.
Pikachu just defended him.
Nice work, kid. Maybe there's a little detective in you after
So he
all.
figured out it's at the roundhouse now.
The whole city is
accidentally dropped the fake match that they're pretending, acting like it's a big deal. So, for the rest of the film, Mr. Mime appears as this float here. So this float for the 10th anniversary of Rhyme City is happening. So Rhyme City is a city where people and Pokemon coexist. Yes.
verging on downtown to
So many.
So that's the mayor giving an interview. So that's Lucy Stevens. She's allied with Tim and Detective Pikachu. They just saw who they believe to be Roger Clifford, the owner of the news, capture Mewtwo. And so she's trying to get him and trying to talk to him about how to go about revealing this big news story.
Sir, I need to speak with you, please. It's urgent.
A little late for an interview day.
And that's who they believe to be Roger Clifford.
Before we begin the parade,
She doesn't want him to know. So, Howard Clifford, Roger's father, and the founder of Rhyme City, has revealed that he was the one that actually captured Mewtwo, and is using a device called the Neuralink to put his mind inside of Mewtwo, and so he's revealing to Tim that the gas is in the balloons, and he's going to pop them at the parade and merge humans and Pokemon, because his whole goal is the ultimate partnership between humans and Pokemon, and he believes that putting people's mind inside of Pokemon is the way to do it. So now he's revealing his plan, he's all the gas coming out. He's merging all the humans. Okay, we've just skipped ahead a lot. So it's down here, I think. So this was Pikachu, he's fighting Mewtwo, and that was just him running in there, and then we go to the credits, I guess. So you can see there's a Mew, there's the Mr. Mime, and it's in the spinny wheel thing again. Yep, and that's it. Let's move on. Now let's see why people love Mr. Mime. Hello and welcome to the community post section of the video. Thank you, Matches Malone, for responding to my community post here. So the question is, what do you love about Mr. Mime? For this question, you can answer with Galarian or non-Galarian Mr. Mime. So, Matches Malone says, gameplay-wise, his access to Barrier and Reflect make him have a fun niche that fits his theme as a mime. In the anime, it was funny how Ash's mom had a Mr. Mime that was constantly with her, but I wonder why they chose Mr. Mime, since they're kind of creepy. The best part of Galarian Mr. Mime is that he evolves into Mr. Rhyme. Mr. Rhyme is peak design. The mime theme evolves into a silent film actor theming, and his resemblance to Charlie Chaplin is genius and a fun way to play homage to Galar's British roots. The pun on the type of frost called rhyme and rhyme is brilliant, and Mr. Rhyme using hardened ice to tap dance is another great layer that incorporates another cultural reference. Thank you again for responding. Let's move on. Now let's look at fan art. Hello and welcome to the fan art section of the video. Nobody sent in fan art, so instead we're looking at DeviantArt fan art. For those of you who don't know how this works, what we do is we go through these images until we find an image that doesn't contain a Mr. Mime. So, this is Mr. Mime by Soup and Butter, this very creepy, very monster-like Mr. Mime. I guess that's probably the point. Yeah, it's very creepy and scary, but very well done. You can see how they turned the, shoes, they turned that into claws, and the hair, or the not hair, is like this, and it's very, very creepy. Let's move on. So here we got Mr. and Mrs. Mime by Merploxy. Here we got a couple Scraggies talking to a couple Mr. Mime. So Scraggy says, "Meet Mr. Mime," and his wife, Mr. Mime, and then one of the Mr. Mime says, "Guess which one wants the D?" Very inappropriate. Don't know why this was in the filtered. I feel like this should have been filtered out, but oh well. I'll move on. So here we got 122 Mr. Mime by Winter Freak. So this cool stylized Mr. Mime here kind of reminds me of the Garfield cartoon, the original. Very nice. This is Momon, Mr. Mime by C. Magister. So this human Mr. Mime, that's kind of fun. Yep, got all the elements. You got the jester hat instead of the hair. That's interesting, the clown hair. The shoes, you've got, yeah, I don't know, you got all the things. Yeah, it's interesting how they interpret more. They made it more like a jester rather than a clown or a mime. So that's interesting. And this is not Mr. Mime, so we'll move on. Thanks to everyone who submitted fan art. I won't be streaming tonight as I need to wait until I've talked about Snorlax before I can trade an Abra for Mr. Mime. Tomorrow I'll be talking about Scyther. As always, this is my proper outfit. You'll see me tomorrow.